Hello everyone, this is Avi Merch, and in this video I'm going to present to you one of the projects that I was working on about a week or two ago. I just finished it. It was an interesting project, good clients. It was fun to build it, and I think it took about a month or so, maybe more. And this project is exciting for me to present because as I always like to go, and by the way, this is the Madex, they have a product, Laila. And I will go back always to my table of contents of my capabilities deck. You can find this document also in the links below this video, as well as my LinkedIn. So I like to go to what I do, and I always have try and service that I have here. Now, this project, in respect to other two projects that I did, as I mentioned, for example, previous video was done for the free towers. You can check it also from the link below. And another one is the minutes. Unlike free towers, this project, Madex Laila, needed all three of my services. And this is exciting. I like to say why this is important is because one person is just taking over the whole process, and it saves a lot of time, money, and headache. At the same time, it's sustaining that consistency, professional, trustworthy look and feel that is exciting because as I always say, I'm always paying attention, talking with decision makers. In this case, nevertheless, quite interesting. In this project, I didn't have a chance to talk that much with decision makers. I had a mediator between me and them, which is something for me new to learn, but it was great. So I needed to find a way to define and ask right questions to extract and understand the right information in order to make them successful in respect to the business goals and user needs. So I was working with my medium from the marketing side person and branding that allowed me to, work in between and find out that we can achieve correctly without even direct connection that often. So that was really interesting. So in this case, as they needed a website in order to sell their product to the target audience, but there was also in need brand identity as well as logo for their product, Laila, as well as we will be developing. So it's really interesting. All three categories will be going through 1, 2, 3, and it's exciting. I will show you each of them in this case, because we can see and approve the brand identity. We can create logo. We can take the brand identity and logo, and we can apply that to the website. And when you apply that, either website or other digital points or even printing materials, that allows you to sharpen the branding identity even better because we see how branding identity is applied. And if that is actually in accordance with application, it's always important in order to register right branding identity guidelines, and then we will develop exactly pixel perfect, responsive with respect what we have designed. So now let's start from the beginning and let's go to the Figma to Laila. Now you can see here, I always like to have a cover for the project that I work on in Figma. So here you can see Laila. This is the logo for Laila. And I will go and explain to you. And this is my choice. And you will see my choice on the website as well that you saw here. I'll point out which elements were removed. And feel free to go actually to madex.io, I think it's called, directly to the website that is launched. Here, I'm always having a backup version, and I'm always bringing back some elements that I would like to see in application from my evaluation. I'm just keeping some good version for myself, and this is what I'm presenting. So I'll be pointing out elements that are not really used in a real launched version. Now here, before we go, and I'll show you the whole development for the whole responsiveness from top to bottom, so you can understand the expertise and how important it is. And we'll go step by step from Figma, and I'll try to make it quick. Now let's go to the branding. You can see I have different sub pages within my canvas. I'll go to the branding, and you'll see. So what we did, you can see here, for example, brand style guide, and this is not complete brand style guide. This is the initial version as the basic version that is important in order to fulfill this website and basic information to respect in any other digital or printing materials. But I'm also offering to this client to expand and build complete version with respect to photography, with respect to videography, if they have any, and with description. And if should they agree, it will be great to build this brand guidebook into the next level. So why this was important to build, this will serve them really much to be consistent over the digital touch points. Like you see here, for example, we have some social media predicted with a logo that I have developed and brand guidelines and colors and glow that you can see. It must be consistent. So already keeping that direction. At the same time, we developed the primary and secondary logo, right? You can see the one that is vertical, the one that is horizontal. how it looks like, and of course just icon on itself. And also we choose the glow and color, different variations for use in the brand identity, as solid color, as glow, and also some explanation of glow we have here. Also, of course, typography respect. And it's interesting because when I apply to the website, I can go back to the brand identity and see that actually, you know what, let's make this, for example, header smaller or bigger. It looks better in the digital or printing materials. And that's another thing, for example, to expand this document, there's a lot of things. This is living, breathing document. Brand style guidebook is always living, breathing. And I did a massive, if you can go and check it out, I think Scala, I have somewhere this interesting project that had a massive brand guidebook that I have built with footage, with photography, with templates and so on. This is a smaller, and this one can be expanded to the more bigger and complete guidelines because you have printing materials to follow. For example, when you have a business card done or any kind of printing material done, you register that to the guidebook, and you can develop a printing version, how to respect the printing materials, or to respect to the guidelines. And then digital format also have its own some kind of unique approach. For example, like you can see here, we have a button, for example, as a sample. This is more digital oriented because we're doing website. Nevertheless, there's space to improve. Now, at the same time, there are basics. We do define the font for body and for the headlines. We do define also the font for the logo, and we build the logo. And we do capture colors, and we can give more, for example, Pantone. I'm not registering Pantone here. This is not something on my focus. We're doing digital. So next step could be include Pantone and make sure that they match. And also we can decide even better, where's the accent, where's the main color, do we go with white? And this is like guidance, because we need to try to apply brand guidelines, apply to any kind of version in printing materials. Maybe we'll learn that actually, you know what, white color is not something to our signature, so to say, because website, that's the thing. I'm giving some options. You can see the white option here to complement the darkness. But in website, we haven't used the white background. So this is really interesting to observe and say, you know what, this is the guidelines, but we haven't still played enough to apply it. And once you apply it, you can define, is this something we go with? Nevertheless, I do recommend, I do give an option, and I do believe this is a really good idea to go with a white version as a complement to the darker side. And so we capture those colors, this is important. And also clear space for the logo. And again, for example, clear space, this works. But for example, if we'll apply this logo on some printing materials and other things anywhere else, maybe we'll define that actually we should change the clear space in some way. Or maybe you should say, this clear space specifically for icon only should be bigger or smaller or whatsoever. So you can explore some interesting things later on in time. Nevertheless, I do give these generic guidelines that are important to follow with them being tested by me, because I applied them in some way to see if they fit icon on a social media as well as in a website. You will see that they respect the clear space, so that's good. And if not, I will adjust a little bit and see how that fit, and I'll sharpen here and there. So I have logos, basics, and select the main color tone. Now also I wanted to show you before we go after the branding, because you see the result. We captured the result, but there was a process of I'll hide these, and I have hidden elements, for example, process 5, process 4, 3, 2, 1. You can see how a lot of stuff, how a lot of tests, for example, I did have from my partner who was doing marketing and branding strategy. She did amazing branding strategy, and she brought me into the process with a great analysis of competitive landscape in understanding user and understanding different things and communicating tagline and you name it, value system, mission, vision, you name it. So there was a great material for me to follow thanks to her. And that allowed me to actually go really quickly. That's another thing. When people do a really good part of I don't have it here, but brand strategy, that this is also something I'm doing that I'm not really registering in my services because I don't want to spread too thin. But if that's needed, some customers I do serve with brand therapies, I go and talk with them on a call or in a meeting. I record, I ask great questions, and I make sure we extract everything in order to create an observation and recommendation report. I like to communicate with decision makers, and most projects and previous projects that you saw in my demonstration, I'm always communicating with decision makers because I'm not doing just aesthetics. I'm solving business goals, and I'm seeking to satisfy user needs by this bridging the gap. So it's important for me to talk and understand them. But what I want to say is that, I'm receiving all these things. It's really important. It's great because if my customer doesn't really have understanding what's competitive marketplace, what's competitive landscape, why user matters and what they're trying to achieve. That also, that's a trouble for my client, because they will spend so much time on things that might not be functional. They will spend money later on in strategic thinking, if you think about it, and a lot of headache on the way. So it's really important when I'm actually talking with my clients, I'm asking right questions to define what they have on their hands. And I'll offer them to do things that are important for them in order to save them from losing so much time, from losing so much money, and just keeping it easy and quickly. So in this case, for example, my partner had a great analysis and names of competitors, and I researched and explored them, and I tried to not to repeat what they have. I tried to extract good stuff that they did. So we're trying to use everything great, and we're trying to avoid everything that is poorly done. And we're also trying to stand out, not to look the same as they do. So it's really important, we do something, we define everything based on that. At the same time, we're listening to our client. In my case, I'm listening to my client. I need to understand what they like, what they don't like. I like to ask what brands they like, what we should not follow to repeat, and so on. So I'm not going to go into the depth of showing many things, but there's a lot of experimentation of different logo types. We chose this logo. You can see it already was looking differently. So there's the phases. There are a lot of play around with different colors, with different logo, different gradients, you name it, and seeing how they look like in a competitive collective. You can see we're trying to stand out. If you put all of them together, do they notice you? It's also interesting to observe. We played with different things, different style, different photography orientation and application, and different way. And it's the idea was of the heart and the star related with AI, and then this look like ornamental AI. You can see there was also the idea, because Laila is an application for AI user research related. Some only star, for example, how it looks like, and some kind of different approach. Many tests, many interesting play, a lot of experimentation with the heart. The idea was to go with the heart in some different color, green, but eventually we explored quite interesting. We actually have a lot of interesting play of logotypes that we didn't went with. It could be good actually, but I think I like what we went with actually. To be honest, I'm glad that they chose this logo. It feels right to this brand. It was also idea to have a store with an AI and different. So yeah, eventually you can see that we developed some direction here. There was different versions of this, like subtle elements of difference, and we went with one version or another. So, and also idea was with the blue color, for example, and really you can choose any, but I'm actually happy that we went with a green. It was interesting. It was counterintuitive. I kid you not, I will tell you something. That with my clients, what happens is that behind those is that they think they want something. You might want something if you think about it, but you just don't know. You haven't seen things that can impress you, and you'll say, yeah, this is what we want actually. Totally different than the way I imagined, but this is something that impressed me, and I want to go with it. So this is what happened, and this is probably, in this year I have a second client who were expecting logo in one way, but they get totally counterintuitive, different result that they didn't expect it. And I can tell you really that, be careful, because sometimes you don't really know. Not really careful, but be aware that there are a lot of things that you might not be aware of that can really solve things unexpectedly, so to say. So this is the brand identity. This was really good to follow. An interesting thing is, so while we're approving logo, for example, and while we're moving forward, at the same time, what I can do, I can continue with interface design while I'm waiting for my client to approve aesthetics. Because when we do website, and that's what we're going to do right now, we're going to go to the website sitemaps. Sitemaps and wireframes, they don't really need aesthetics so far. I can check my competitors. I can check something that I'm respecting as an example to follow, but I'm not really thinking about aesthetics. So while my client's taking time, because it's different countries, it's Dubai and USA, and I'm in Spain, it takes time. And I kid you not, is actually a value when you actually have a time zone difference. But when there's 3 times or 2 times difference of time back and forth, that can be actually against you to some degree. So you need to work smart. And in my case, what I do is that while we're approving branding, that's what you need to know. I have 8 years of experience in all this industry. So while we're approving aesthetics and visuals, it doesn't stop me to continue with interface design while I'm waiting for the feedback from, it's an organization. It's not one person. It's maybe 2 main people, and there's more for them to explore in their organization team to see what they think. But main decision makers will make the final choice and give the feedback to my marketing partner and brand strategist business strategist. And then from her, I will get the whole feedback, so to say. While that goes on, I'm doing other things. I'm focusing on branding. I'm sorry, not branding. I'm focusing on website, not yet applying branding. So what happens, I'm defining the sitemap. Sitemap is pretty basic because we're only selling the product. So really quickly, I'm not wasting my time because I'm coding, as I mentioned before. When I'm coding, I might save some time because I did before a massive application design, and there, because other people will be working on that, the sitemap was massive and complex. And there we need to track things. I noticed that with applications is really totally important. Now, in this case, for example, it's not a massive website. It's not really important to build a sitemap of complex because it's not complex, okay? So what happens, usually I go with the sitemaps really quickly and quickly approve that. And then I go and take the sitemap and expand to the wireframes that are just, I'm taking, for example, a homepage, and I say, okay, homepage, this is the sections that I'm predicting to have in that homepage. And then I have homepage number 1 version, and I'm checking our competitors. I'm checking some examples that I like. I'm checking some important information to have, and I'm always having these questions. I'm thinking from the user, from target audience perspective. So I'm saying, what do you actually user want to know on our website? So I'm saying, well, what do you do? They want to know exactly if that's in their field of value. What's in this for them, so to say? Why should they care? Who for, so to say? So you can find out who is this for. Show me the product, what it has, what it do, how it works. That's what you want to know then. And it's in sequence. Really interesting. When you cover every question and craft your website based on answering on all those questions, you reveal everything in your call to action into the funnel. So how can I trust you deliver? What they say. That's important about trustworthiness, about testimonials, and what I give for it, which means like what I need to, like what I'm parting with, what I have to pay, so to say. What is it that I have to give in order to gain what you have to offer? And who should I talk to? How should I contact? And it's the call to action, final call to action. So I targeting, and it depends on every product you evaluate. In this case, these 6 questions made sense. So I'm taking the template of mine and then sharpening the template into those basic questions, and I want to answer on all of them in sequence. So that's how I'm building the wireframes. And wireframes phase 1, phase 2 will be more towards visual. Phase 2 will be more towards visual. Phase 1 of wireframes is more about the content and navigation. So making sure that we're answering to the target audience everything they need to know in order to convince them to buy our product. And that's what website UX UI is about understanding who we're selling it to. And usually, not always, but mostly, you want to sell something, as an example. And if you want to sell it, you want to answer on all questions that they might have. Why choose you, so to say, in a marketplace, and so on. You solve those questions, and then it's different than application, because application is different thinking for user experience, user interface. Here we're thinking about how to sell and what is the gain, what is the pain for the user. Anyways, so I'm taking and I'm just brainstorming. I'm thinking, I'm building this homepage, for example. And I say, okay, this is the sections I want to answer. And then I take the second version. I'm keeping every version. I'm saying, okay, I'm expanding further. I'm checking what they had as an example. I'm checking competitors. I'm checking examples that I like. Or similar products that are not in a competitive field, let's say. And I'm just expanding and bloating all the information that is important. And then I'm sharpening that to the homepage number 5, the final one. And I have changing order, adding some new stuff. And then I am just, talking, always presenting, recording video, sending to my client through my Medium. And that's it. And about us also what we need to do. So this is the first phase of wireframes, and forms and legals, pretty straightforward. Don't really have to even expand that into the wireframes. But about us and homepage is the main thing. So with that being done, we go, even though it's in sitemaps, this is already kind of expanded sitemap. It's kind of in between wireframes and sitemaps. So I tend to call it wireframe first phase. Second phase of wireframes, what happens there is that I start to use that structure that I had, and I prove that with clients. I prove that content and flow and navigation, and then I start to expand that to, if I'm still not in need for visuals that I have crafted to be approved, but if that's taking too long, I still can move forward. So here what I do, I'm crafting. I start to craft I have good examples that I like, and I'm trying to build wireframes. But what I also, you see, it's the second phase of wireframes is complete, and I have smart way of working in Figma. I'm building this as a variables that I will use into the presentation that you can experience yourself. Even manipulating the device responsiveness if I need to. You can see the wireframes. I'm not really building a mobile device, but I can really change the variable that I built within this structure in order to make it responsive. It's quite interesting trick that I built for myself within my 8 years of experience. And what I do here, I'm building those sections as the variables. I can reuse them anywhere, anytime. But anyways, this is how homepage would look like, So I'm like building the wireframes without visuals. It's really important to build without visuals because we don't want to make a false judgment of wrong feedback. You don't want clients to give you feedback with subjective approach with respect to visuals that they might not like. So that is why wireframe stage is really important to deliver to clients and say, what do you think? Is the content right? Is the flows right? And so on. Or someone, not necessarily clients, someone who is responsible for the marketing and content strategy and so on. So fortunately, I had a person that was a medium. So it's really great to deliver to my medium and agree and check on a content strategy and copy and then send it to clients. So that's really good. So here you see I'm laying out everything. It's already, you can see it's a visual layout closer to the visual, but we don't have any font applied. We didn't have any visuals, colors applied that brand is to be approved. So it's really good. You can see that's a question to respect that I have. You can see that we are demonstrating right away with a video. We thought to put a video loop, but there'll be a different thing. There'll be actually product demonstrated. You see, it's still even in wireframes, it's not totally demonstrating the final result. It's further as we go, we're chiseling out the sculpture. So we might make changes in our decisions because the video, it became not important. Photography became not important. That's the decision was eventually. So we need to respond creatively and accept that decision and not to do the video in a loop, not to do photography that much. That was approached later on in visuals, you'll see. Nevertheless, the whole idea is respecting the answering on the questions that target audience might have in their mind layer by layer. And here, like we make sure that this is the field, they understand what field we are in. It's about user research with AI assistance, kind of competitive differentiation approach. This is what kind of people can get value out of this, small business, big business, solopreneur, whatever. Some benefits of the product that we're going to demonstrate. Here you can see it's a video, but actually there will be a product that will demonstrate how it looks like as you use that product. Something will change, how it works, some steps, features. We want to show the features of the product. Can be image, can be mockup, and we will end up with mockup. And then testimonials, as I say, what they say, really important to demonstrate trustworthiness. Our mission was not used, but it's totally okay. There will be something related to our team. And this will come back actually to the top. The brands that will prove for trustworthiness, they'll be actually up front. You'll see in the visuals. You see some things can change within time. And then call to action, contact us was the idea to put the loop video, but again, it'll be product demonstrated, the mock-up of the product, and always call to action, of course. And FAQ will have their own website in our case. So you can see every time some things will change as you move on. And that's another reason of wireframes. So you're chiseling out sculpture and you don't want to jump right away into the visuals and complete sharp. You want to go step by step, approve and approve. And then we make decision. You know what? Actually, we say, let's put these trusted partners up so we can increase right away trustworthiness and trust. And let's have FAQs separate so people can quickly find it. So, it's a discussion. And then about us, about us is also about team, our company values. I think that will be, but we'll put it lower, our team 4, but it'll be free. Actually, good idea to go smaller or whatever. So you predict a lot. Advisors will not be there for now. Investors will not be there for now. So this is the approach. In some forms, I'm already predicting newsletter. We'll not have a newsletter. We'll have contact us and try our product. They already had it from the side of the product. So all I needed actually to visualize contact us. And you'll see. So that's what I'm going to take you into. We'll go to the visuals right now. And when we go to the visuals now, when branding is approved, I can play with visuals. Now here, I totally need visuals to be approved. Now, what happens here, again, you can see it's quite weird looking because this is the assets that I have you see the menu navigation, for example, all these assets. So this is where I have this well done structure, but it doesn't have a background, and I will have a background in the presentation mode. You'll see. Let's go to the presentation and I'll show you. So in presentation also, I allow my clients to have the prototypes to review in the wireframes. So we do have a track of wireframes from the past. You can go and check it out. But visuals, you can see we're putting it together. By the way, actually, I thought I did the mobile device version here with responsiveness, but actually I didn't. It's really good because already with my 8 years of expertise, I can predict, and I'm not really spending that much time because I know also, as I mentioned, I'm coding here. So I'm not really spending that much time on responsiveness and design. I'll be doing that in development because I know already enough and I'm predicting and I'm testing that this will work. So I have enough. You do need, as a designer, expertise in order to skip some steps and make sure. Otherwise, if you're not having enough experience as a designer, I recommend you to make sure have a mobile version, smallest screen, and so on. Make sure that you have predicted what is ahead of you. So, and I myself, as you saw in a Free Towers project, I had a cascading structure in Figma because other developers will be doing the coding work. So that's important also. Nevertheless, so with visuals, you can see we apply the brand identity. I'm predicting here mockups. My idea, so because we're not going with the photography, we're not going with videography because they want to clean design as a smooth transition. So idea is to use glow effect that was addition to the brand identity in some time. But what happens is here I'm applying those you see background with a glow, and I'm showing how the mockup can look like, where we can put a mockup of the product that we're selling as Laila. And so we're applying this style, and you can see we developed this style, and we can back and forth with brand identity here and there. So you can see the whole thing. You will see how encoding this look like. Actually, let me show you right away. So you see in design, for example, it's like this, but the idea is they have to move left, right, and I'm not really spending that much time to do it in design, but I'm definitely doing that in code. And you'll see that here they are, and I give them container, but if you actually go into the website and explore it yourself, you can see that it's moving left, right. And that's something you can do in the code. And this is how good it is when you have all in one control. You can save actually a lot of time, money, and headache by having all in one control. So nevertheless, so you can see how we apply everything with respect to the wireframes and brand identity. It's exciting to see everything is coming together. For example, you can see that we don't have a Laila logo here, but in the code, we decided to put Laila logo. We want to make it clear that, Laila product is different in the mind of a user from a Madex. So it was one of the approach. And let's see. So I'm not going to show you the whole design. I'm just going to quickly run through. You can see that we start to go with the mockups. The idea is because we're selling the product, we want them to see what's inside. And the point is because the application, the product itself as a mockup is quite different. So it needed to be updated to the brand identity that I have developed. So in this case, I needed to take their mockup and convert that into the brand identity, and you'll see what it will have there. So it will be communicating and demonstrating what to expect. So it's consistent of our digital touch points. What they say, testimonials, and the idea is to show this mockup here. Now in design, I'm not really showing it, even though I could open it. You can see also with the team, we have team members. And again, for example, here you'll see that I'm bringing these photographies. And in the real launch website, this photography will not be there. We decided not to go with the photography, but I must say I'm using it for my own example. And I'll go our team, for example, and you can see that our cookies also. I build. Let me see if the cookies will appear. Yeah, this site uses cookies, so privacy policy, cookies notice. So this is coded really well, so I understand and will disappear. Now this photography is only in my version, and these photos, well done by one photographer that I asked if she is allowing to use these photos, if we can purchase these photos to use for our brand. Unfortunately, this was not allowed to use those because they one-time use for other clients. So I respected that, and I was seeking to find something similar, but we decided not to go with the photography. And actually that saved me some time. I really like that we didn't have to. Otherwise, it's hard to find good photographer, and if we have budget that we can do that, do we value that, and so on. So in this case, we're not really in real website. If you go to the Madex IO, you will not see those photos here. But I like those photos. I use it for my own version, and you can see that it's beautifully done. I'm having in my mind this photographer for future use. She does amazing work, and I would love to see such a quality to be used with my work for my clients. And I'm keeping that in mind. I will see how it go. So this is important for me to point out. Now, what else I can say about the visuals? So yeah, and here, for example, they in the process of having better photography for their team. That's something also question of time, and I use what they have, what they provided. Unfortunately, not everything is with a good quality. So this is something for them to make sure that they're consistent, and who knows, maybe I will continue working with them in order to improve the brand identity and make sure that they follow those guidelines and so on. And I hope they have photography sooner or later so we can replace that and make it better look. So this is what we have here. And, FAQs, and here you go. As I mentioned, FAQs will be separate on their own website. Oh, and we have a forum of contact us. Everything is applied with the brand identity. Now here you can see that I developed actually where there will be in another place, visuals. And you will see that I have developed those assets. This is I'm presenting the mockups. So I had to take their mockups UX and apply brand identity they have developed and apply that in order to demonstrate those mockups on our website. So there was another work to do. So that was exciting to keep that consistency and have some further development for the product. And it was good, to see that in practice. So I developed them and also developed some features I don't know how you call them, the graphics. I see space for improvement here, but it's okay. This is what we had in respect to time. And they're quite good. I'm happy with that. They're happy with that. So it's good. As I'm always saying, there's always space for improvement, and that's totally okay. So I'm going to be closing the designer Figma, and I will be going now to coding. And here we get to you can see how we run with you through the brand identity, through interface design, and now we do the code. And that's the beauty of them taking and coding everything myself. And you can see that all I do, I just follow my design. I follow everything that I have created, applying design and making sure that everything is well. You can see the mockups, by the way. Let me go to the website right away. Let me go to the home page. And you can see that we have mockups that I have created, and we bring them in. We can see we follow that brand identity, respect, and we can see the product that we sell. And you can actually go meet Laila, click it, and go check the product yourself, or you can explore more in order to learn. There always is an option to go to the Meet Laila. This is the only where we use actually white color here on the button. It's good to see the differentiation variety. So, it's quite interesting. We go here. It's interesting. Like here, for example, client didn't want to see those lines. He wanted to feel that effortless flow. The flow without abruption. That's the whole idea was. So for their version, I don't have lines. For my version, I brought those lines back because I feel that's the part of the aesthetical separation for landing page. First section, hero section. Now, so we follow this structure. This is the final result. This is the code based on the branding that I developed, based on the design that I have developed, and everything is responsive, done by me. You can see these kind of interactions of highlights, but aesthetically pleasing. Some of them have this. You can see the shadow and the outline, respecting the color code that we have developed. As with respect to the content strategy, with my offer of what content to put in, we have these 3 categories. We have this demonstration of here's what Laila can do for you, right? You can click and check those mockups. Those mockups are developed by me to show the product consistently over the website, and that's what we sell, so they can see what actually they can expect. And call to action always here. We have how it works, some steps to follow, some kind of keep reminding about logo type. We have these features, quite clever slide here. We have also code-wise was quite something to do. Easy, but quite good. And mobile device have different. It's a horizontal scrolling. I see space for improvement here, but it just would take more time. But it was serving, again, I always say, as long as it serves business goals and user needs, and everyone is happy, and we don't have enough time to pay attention to this. So we just say it's done and we continue further. So it was accepted and is good. And some testimonials really important, some hover effects, Meet Laila, and here's the product that we sell to demonstrate this global and where is your consumer located. A really good invitation to hey, go and give it a try, Meet Laila. So some social media, contact us, and we go to our team. We'll get to our team right now. And here is my version. So I'm using this photography. We have our team also here. As I mentioned, the photography quality has space to improve. What is provided is provided. Those lines will not be on the landing on the page, on the launch page. I brought those lines back, as I mentioned, just to because I feel this separation. I still appreciate that separation. You can see a lot of glow effect in decision. By the way, glow is a really good idea to the decoration, but it might make your website slow a little bit because you use everywhere, like loading. You notice when loading is happening, sometimes you see this white line. It's not that scary, but because it's PNG in the background, SVG, that you have a massive glow and a background, it might take the space for load, but it's not that tragic, so to say. Vision and so on. So pretty good. And FAQ is also really, really simple thing, quite well done. So you just go and check it out and hover away. Good responsiveness here. I like it. You hover over, it indicates that you hover over, you click it, it turns around. Quite clever. Subtle nuances really also important. You can contact them, so it's also hover over effect, kind of shining thing. So you can type, and everything is registered. You can go to the privacy policy, terms of use. I also like to keep consistency in aesthetics for terms of use and any legal. I like aesthetics. I'm not just ignoring that. I like that consistency all the time. So, and everything is registered and so on. Now that's the presentation, and the final thing that I can show you is the responsiveness. So this is the final thing that I have to show you. So, and you can see that when we go to the biggest screen, we can stretch and it always will be responsive. It's important. And there's a max width. But if you go to the biggest screen, for example, it's still going to be responsive. I want it to be in accordance. It's really important, like Mac stationary computer that is massive screen. It will be consistent all over the touch points. And when we go lower on a smaller screen, we can go stretching further down. You can see that these features also always have their width. And everything is just responsive. If you go to the tablet, now this is already tapping, so you can see the menu changes. The tapping mode is different, so we have everything in responsiveness. Everything is in accordance. The stacking already vertically and so on. Here is also change. And even landscape mobile device and portrait is the most important because this is where people usually are using portrait mobile device and the desktop station. That's the most important. Here you can see how we're stacking everything on each other and going, because you see there's a trouble with this text. It's just because simple thing, because in a real launch version of the website, we don't have those lines anymore and this text is not there. And it's just because I brought these lines back. I forgot to check for myself, for my own version, that this might not be responsive enough. So I'll make sure that this is there once I'm done with record. But this is for myself, so I'm just noticed I forgot to bring the parameter back to make sure that we can read it. So it's just my mistake for my own sake. But the website is totally perfect. They're the one that is launched by them. So we'll make sure everything again is super responsive to the smallest iPhone SE, and everything is in accordance. So I want to present it is quite a massive presentation here, and I think why it's pretty simple is just because we cover everything. We cover from the brand identities, logo, with the brand identity guidelines, as well as the interface design with responsiveness, seeing how it all comes together. And also you can see mock-up elements that need to be consistent all the touch points and demonstrate that professional look and feel and trustworthiness degree. And then we go to the web development in respect to the responsiveness and make sure that copy is right, everything integrated. But we did on the interface design with the content strategy, everything in accordance while we're waiting for the brand identity and logo approval. It's quite interesting to shift between be smart about it and work in accordance. Actually, you even can start coding if you want to at some point. If some parts are ready, you can take a risk, so to say, take a step and start to code in some parts if you still have to wait for some approvals here and there. So you have to be smart about it to save time or focus on another project as a designer. So that's all I want to say. It's really exciting. I'm happy that they're happy. It was a great process of working with different people in this project with marketing, branding strategy, different clients, and launching coders and UX designer who did their product, Laila product app. Was interesting to be involved with many people and make sure that we actually launching the website and seeing how it's live. That's it, guys. Thank you for your attention. This is AV Merch. Feel free to go on YouTube, my YouTube channel, as well as you can find me on LinkedIn, where everything that you need to know is there, from capabilities deck that you see here, as well as work that I am sharing there and connecting with people. Take care. This is AV Merch. Chat to you later. Have a good day.